This is my BMW X7, and last year I said this. If you have been looking into buying a BMW X7, you've probably heard about the #1 common issue, which is the transfer case. At the time I had no symptoms, but now my car has started occasionally jerking and skipping when in full lock at low speeds while turning. I made sure my tires are in good condition, as worn or wrong size tires can cause the same issue. So the next step is to change the transfer case fluid, and hopefully it will fix the issue. Let me show you exactly what needs to be done step by step. As this car has an air suspension, we have to disable it. And to make it a little bit easier for me to jack up the car and put it on jack stands, I have raised it all the way up, and now I'm gonna press and hold this button up for about 7 seconds. 1, 2, 6, 7. There you go, the light goes off. So that means the air suspension is now disabled. It's very important that the car is on a leveled surface, so I am backing it into the garage. Unlike some other BMWs, this car actually has a jacking point in the front, so what we're going to do is jack it up and then put it on jack stands in the front, and then go to the back and do exactly the same thing. That looks about right. Now we can put our jack stands in place. Same on the other side. Now we can slowly lower it onto the jack stands. In the back of the car, there isn't a dedicated lifting point, but we can use the differential right there. Just make sure you put your jack on the actual body of the differential and not the cover. So I went to the front and counted how many clicks I had the jack stand up, and it's 5. So we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make sure it's at exactly the same height. We need it to be leveled for filling up. All right, slowly lower it. While checking, make sure it goes on the jack stands correctly. I think that's about right. Yeah, that looks good. Just to be a little extra safe, I will put this jack right here under very light load, so it's not picking the car up. But if something were to happen, then this will be my backup basically. Looking at it from this angle, it doesn't seem like we have raised the car a lot, but trust me, we have, since these tires will kind of sag a lot and we already had it on the highest position for the suspension. There was a lot of room under the car, but this is much safer and a little bit more room for me to climb underneath the car, which of course makes it a little bit easier to get the job done. Next, we have to remove this protective cover, and you don't need any special tools for that. It's a simple 8mm socket, so let's get it done. It's probably a good idea to wear eye protection here because there might be some dust and dirt falling into your eyes, but I'm just gonna close my eyes. And now we have access to our transfer case. Awesome. We are now looking towards the front of the car, and you can see your transmission right there. Make sure you do not drain that. That would be a problem because you'll have to do the entire service for the transmission, and it's a bit more complicated. But here is your transfer case or transfer box, and the drain plug that we need to access is just right there. And it seems like this transmission support is in the way, and it is. Per BMW, you're supposed to support the entire transmission and then remove it, but I have a special tool that's going to make it a lot easier, so we can just go from here, from the bottom, drain it, and then refill it without having to remove this support, which is going to make it a lot easier. Now, you would think that the next step is to just drain the fluid, but it's a BMW. There is an extra step. We have to do a procedure from a scan tool or from the BMW software to actually open up all of the valves and everything else in the transfer box, so all of the fluid goes to the bottom and we can drain as much as possible. And to do that, we have to put the car in diagnostics mode, press the start button 3 times. Then grab your favorite BMW scan tool. I have a list of my favorites in the description, so check that out if you need one. This one's only 120 or something bucks, so it doesn't have to be an expensive one, but it has to be able to do bi-directional functionality and especially service functions. So we're going to go to BMW. We're going to go to special functions. Now we'll go to drive. Scroll down to transfer box, and what we need to do is oil change. So we're going to transfer box, oil change. It has communicated with the transfer box control unit. Hit continue, and we're going to do F1, so the first function. This is the before step, and of course we're going to do the second step after we have changed the oil, and then even after that we can do calibration to calibrate the transfer box with the new oil. So that will help it run in better, and hopefully we'll have no issues at all. So I'm just going to hit F1, and here are some of the prerequisites that you must follow. So Some of the main ones is that the oil must be at least 20 degrees Celsius, so like 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, I think we should be okay, but let's hit continue. And if all of those things are met, we should be able to proceed. Okay, now it's asking us to start the engine. With the engine running, I'm gonna try it again. There you go. Now it's gonna do whatever it needs to do for 12 seconds. Okay, we're gonna hit continue. It did mention that it's gonna switch off the engine automatically. So we're just following the instructions here. I see the diagnostic mode is on again. So the scanner has turned that on automatically. Okay, it has checked for faults. There were none, so now we can continue. And now the oil reservoir is gonna be opened in the next step. Perfect. I can hear clicking, and after that click, we are now at this screen where it says it was opened successfully. So it has to be in park for 15 minutes. Continue. And there you go, the service function has successfully ended. So we are done with this step. We can now drain the oil or the fluid. And here's everything else you will need to perform this job. So I went to the dealer and got this DTF1 transfer box oil. So definitely gonna need that. You will also need a new drain plug. So this is the screw plug with O-ring with this part number from BMW right here. Definitely going to need a new one, so make sure you get one of those. You will also need one of these special tools. So this is a drain plug wrench, 14 by 17 millimeters. Got this on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description. Pretty inexpensive as well. So this is what will allow us to do it without removing the support from the transmission. You will need a torque wrench after, so we can torque it to spec. And lastly, you will need a fluid extractor. So I got this 200cc one, so we might have to do it a couple of times. If you want, you can get a bigger one, but this one was cheap, like under 10 bucks, so it'll work. Here is how I assembled everything. So this is kind of a friction fit right here, so that goes in. And then I attached this flexible tube that comes with it, and this will make it a lot easier for us to get all the fluid out. And yeah, you'll probably need some gloves to make sure your hands don't get super dirty and oily. Now we can climb under the car and using our new special tool, remove the drain plug right here. Some oil will come out, so make sure you have one of these trays or something like that to catch it, otherwise it's gonna go everywhere, right? So it goes in just like that, makes it much, much easier. And okay, we cracked it. And I'm gonna be quick to move my hand out of the way, or I'll try to be. And that's not a lot of oil. I was expecting more. So now I have my flexible hose, and that's gonna go into that hole and as far down as you can. So I'm gonna go over the support, and it feels like you're hitting something, so it needs to go down. And this will take a minute to work it out. So I got a little bit in. Let's see what we can extract now. So as you can see, oil is coming out, and all I'm doing is pushing the plunger in and pulling it out. It's draining slowly, so I'm just gonna let it drain until this one is full. Pump that out and then try again. All right, so we have extracted about 400 cc's of fluid, so like 400 milliliters. This is the second tube. Now I'm gonna pour it out and we'll keep going. What you want to see is about 700 milliliters. That means you have gotten pretty much most of it out. If you get less than 700, it's still good, just not ideal. If it's 500, I'll probably change it again in about 20,000 miles just to make sure you get all of the old stuff out. If it's less than 500, then I would maybe change it again in a year, since it's a pretty easy job to do and it will give you a lot more insurance. So let's pour it out again. I probably should have got a bigger one, like a 600 or 700 cc one, but it's fine. So I'm just gonna let it drain and pour this out. Oops, a bit aggressive, that's fine. Put that back in, and then maybe do it one more time so we create nice vacuum, and this will pull the oil out faster. Once it stops going on its own, I will continue to move the little tube further in and use more suction, but for now it's going on its own, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. It could also help lowering the rear of the car or raising the front. All right, I think that's enough. So we got about 550 cc. Could have been better, but it is what it is. With as much old fluid extracted as I could, Now it's time to put the new stuff in. I have also switched to the flexible tube only as I don't need the length anymore, and this seals better. So we're just gonna suck in this fluid and push it into the transfer case. Should be pretty easy. All right, let's fill her in. Just wanna be careful not to spill stuff everywhere. First 200 ml. Let's get more. Second one. We want to fill it until it's full. The reason I'm counting how much I'm putting in, I just want to make sure it's at least as much as I have taken out. All right, so that's about 400 cc or 400 milliliters. Definitely make sure the car is leveled at this point, because this is the most important part for the car to be leveled. All right, now I'm gonna go slower because we're getting closer to the 550 that I have taken out. So it should start leaking any second now. Okay, I am at 540-ish now. Okay, that's about 560. I think we're there. Yep, it is coming out now, so we are done. Next, we have to put in our new drain plug with the O-ring. So I'll just go by hand first. This is a good time to clean stuff up a bit so it's not so oily. And now I'm gonna use my torque wrench to torque it to spec. How, you wonder? Well, I'm gonna put this right here as before, and then I'm going to use a couple of extensions to go over the support to go on the other side, which will just give me enough space to torque it. It's not ideal, but it'll work. There it is. Perfect. With the fluid replaced, it's time to put the protective cover back on. And we're done under the car. Now we can go back to our BMW scanner, go to oil change again, and now we're gonna do F2, finish work after an oil change. It put the car in diagnostics mode on its own, as you could see over there. So this will reset the oil wear indicator. Very nice. Hit continue. Continue again. And that's it. Very nice. But we still have the calibration to do, so we're gonna hit calibration now. Continue. Continue. So engine has to be off, PAD mode on, so that's the diagnostics mode on. And it's going to do a few more checks. Do we want to continue? Yes, we do. Okay, looks like all the conditions are met. Continue. I just heard something click in the transfer case. So it's adjusting something or resetting maybe. Okay. More clicks. Lots of clicks now. And there you go, the VTG control unit has been recalibrated. So the new value is now 17.3 degrees, and the previous value was 0.17 degrees. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just gonna lower the car and go on a drive. It could take up to 125 miles for everything to soak in, so for all the clutches or whatever's in there to soak in and to work properly. So you may still experience some issues or jerking or whatever else throughout that time, but after that it should be perfectly fine. All right, so far everything feels good. I have done a few tight turns. I haven't noticed anything. The car drives perfectly, so I am happy so far. If I notice any issues in the next couple of 100 miles, I will add that clip right after this. It has been almost 2 weeks since I changed the transfer case fluid, and I'm very happy to report that the issue is now completely gone. So don't hesitate and get it done in your car as well. If you frequently do fluid changes on your cars at home, you also might be interested in this Garvey electric oil drain. This is the 17-gallon version, which I got by accident thinking it was the 17-quart or liter version, but if you work on diesel trucks or have lots of projects or do coolant flushes, this might be just perfect. Anyway, I wanted to give it a try, and it just happened to be the time to change the engine oil on this BMW X7. Assembly took me about 15 minutes, and then it was ready to go. It definitely makes it easier to catch all of the oil and avoid spills, and the mesh filter on top makes sure you don't lose the drain plug. When all done, you can simply run the electric motor to pump the fluid out into a container, avoiding spills altogether. Link in the description. Well guys, and that's pretty much it. That's all it takes to change the transfer case fluid on a BMW X5, X6, or X7, and plenty of other BMWs as well. I think it's definitely worth doing it yourself, as it's not that much harder than doing an oil change. Anyway, if you'd like to see a lot more content about this BMW X7, click right here. If you'd like to see the common problems, click right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.